Hi there, and welcome. Today we've got a really fun story about a famous frozen treat. But what's so special about it? Well, it wasn't invented on purpose. Nope, it was created by a complete accident. So let's get into this sweet story. So have you ever thought about how the first ice pop was made? It's a pretty cool story about a lucky mistake. And it all started with a young boy a long time ago. All right, so our story starts with an 11-year-old boy. He wasn't trying to invent some amazing new thing. He really just wanted to make himself a nice, sweet drink.
Let's go back in time for a second. The year is 1905, and we're in San Francisco. That's where it all happened.
So this boy, his name was Frank Epperson, was just hanging out on his porch one evening. He decided he wanted a sweet drink, so he started mixing some soda powder with water.
And here's where the famous mistake comes in. You see, it was a really cold night in San Francisco, and Frank was about to accidentally leave something very important outside. So, Frank mixed the sweet powder and water together in a cup. He even used a little wooden stick to stir it all up. But then he must have gotten distracted because he went inside and totally forgot about his drink. He just left it sitting there on the porch all night.
As Frank was sleeping in his warm bed, the temperature outside got colder and colder and colder. It became a very cold night, and that cold weather was the real secret to his accidental invention. So, the next morning, Frank woke up and went back outside. He was about to find something that would surprise him and eventually the rest of the world too. When Frank got outside, he found his cup right where he left it. But the sweet drink inside wasn't a liquid anymore. It had frozen completely solid, with that little wooden stick standing straight up right in the middle. So what did he do? Well, he pulled on the stick, and the whole frozen treat came right out of the cup. He was curious, so he tasted it. And he absolutely loved it. He thought it was delicious. And just like that, at that moment, Frank had made something brand new. Without even meaning to, he had created the world's very first frozen pop. Of course, every great invention needs a great name. But the name we all know today, well, that wasn't Frank's first idea. Let's see how it got its famous name. Okay, so at first, Frank called his invention the Epsicle. It was a mix of his last name, Epperson, and the word icicle. Kind of makes sense, right? But years later, when he had his own children, they started calling it Popsicle. That name stuck, and today we all know it as the Popsicle. So, from one little mistake made by a young boy, a treat loved all over the world was born. Let's just talk for a minute about how popular it is today.
I mean, today millions of people eat ice pops. And they're not just for kids, are they? People of all ages love them. Plus, companies are always creating new and exciting flavors, all because Frank made a simple mistake on a cold night.
And that's the story of the very first ice pop. It really makes you think, doesn't it? Sometimes the best things in life happen by accident. So a final question for you is, what's your favorite happy accident? Thanks for joining me today.